Welcome to the Holy Bible Study with Shelby. Before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notification bell to let you know when the lessons are coming out. Today is Genesis chapter 25. Now, this is a very sensitive chapter. I have food for thought for where all the races came from, part 1, 2, and 3 on another lesson. And it's more detailed. But this is right here is starting the process again, but it's not going to be as detailed as the food for thought of where the races come from, the videos you watched then, okay? That one's going to really break it down. Now, man has poisoned, contaminated God's word so bad to the point where we have made this a racist thing, or still a religious understanding is that the children of Israel, God, He's the only God. There's no other gods. Even the children of Israel failed to realize that, and that's why they got scattered. That's why God cursed them. And you can read all those curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 all the way down to 66 verses of curses. But anyway, we're going to start this chapter, Genesis chapter 25. And you got to take your emotions out of this and let God flow through your mind to give you understanding. Because when people tell you that color doesn't matter in the Bible, anything that God puts here for us to understand is serious. Okay? So we've been through 1 through 25. And if anybody's been following me on this journey from Genesis chapter 1 to this point, or anybody who biblical illiterate, knows that not one time that you can ask whoever supposed to know God's word can tell you where the races come from. From Adam to Noah's sons. You know, God told you it was one manner of people and one manner of nation. He even told you in Adam, he's pulled out of the ground. And he even told you in Revelation and Daniel a glimpse of what he might look like. So with all that said, you got to take your emotions out and let your common sense and pray for wisdom. Because I'm not giving you nothing that you're not going to read along with me. Because this is going to be audio of 6 minutes. You should have your King James Version Bible, pen, paper, and patience. And men, it starts with you. If the family not at the table, the wife not at the table, the children not at the table, it's your fault. So with that said, let's get started. This is a very sensitive chapter. And I will break it down and cause your attention to certain things. Because chapter 26 is going to really give you another different perspective of what God's trying to tell you how the races came about. It's not from, it is from Ham, Japheth, Shem. We know Abraham and the children of Israel came out of Shem. Japheth is the Isles of the Gentile. Ham, and he's the Canaanites, and pretty much the African continent. But something came into play that mixed with that and caused a whole different ball game. And God had a purpose for that. Well, if you go back to my videos where the races come from, part 1, 2, and 3, you'll get better understanding. So with all that said, listen to the audio. You should have your King James Version Bible, because if you have any other Bible, you're being misled. King James Version Bible. That's the one with the 66 books. And that's it. So with this, let's get started. And you ready? Let's go.
Genesis, chapter 25. Again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, Letushim, and Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanok, and Abidah, and Eldaah. All these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 160 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost, and died in a good old age, an old man, and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre. The field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham, that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Lahairoi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Abdiel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Hadar, and Tema, Jeter, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest toward Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said,
If it be so, why am I thus?
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her,
2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob,
Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint.
Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said,
Sell me this day thy birthright.
And Esau said,
Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
And Jacob said,
Swear to me this day.
And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Okay, now let me go back and summarize this for you, because you can always go back in your own time and pray for understanding, because this is the most powerful thing, chapter in the Bible, because God brought something into play because he knew the children of Israel were going to act right. And as we go through this journey of the Bible, you're going to find out. As a matter of fact, if you watch my, like I say, where the races come from videos for 1, 2, and 3, it's already ready. What I won't tell you tonight, you will hear it if you go back and view the videos. But anyway, drop down to verse 5. Well, verse 1, we already know Sarah died. So Abraham remarried a concubine. And he already had Ishmael. He sent Ishmael, his mama Hagar, back to, he didn't send them. They went back to Egypt. God gave him 12 nations, which is the Arabs today. They have 12 nations. But Isaac was the one who was blessed. And Isaac had 12 nations too. That is the 12 tribes of Israel. But then, when Sarah died, Abraham married another woman and had children. And he sent them away from Isaac, because Isaac was the blessed one. God already made that decision. Sarah didn't make it. Abraham didn't make it, and Sarah didn't make it. God made that decision. Okay? Then we know Abraham died at 175 years old. In verse 7. And we know he was buried. Because if you read verse 9, and his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave in Machpelah. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. You got the wolves in the church. They're not the sheep. They're not the shepherds. They're the wolves. They will tell you about when you die, you're in Abraham's bosom. You're in heaven. Well, first of all, they're not telling you that's a parable that Jesus gave to the apostles. They don't tell you that. God was giving them a prophecy with that parable. It clearly tell you at 9 he was buried. He didn't say nothing about him being in heaven. Keep that in mind. Okay? And then we know that the field which Abraham purchased is where him, Sarah, was buried. Even Isaac, even Jacob, even Leah. And the land that they was buried, Ephron. You can imagine if you took those first 6 letters of that, it means Israel. But anyway, drop down to 12. Now these are the generation of Ishmael, which is, once again, talk about his sons. God blessed them too with 12 nations, but they weren't blessed with the kind of blessing that Isaac got. And then, Ishmael died. Drop down to verse 17 to tell you that Ishmael was 137 years old when he died. And he gave up the ghost. Now, turn your attention to verse 19. And I'm going to read it. These are the generation of Isaac, Abraham's son. Isaac begot. And then verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syria of Pantharam, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. Verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife. He went and asked the Lord a question. He wanted to know something. And he got his answer. Verse 21. Because she was barren, that means she had no child. And the Lord was entreated of Isaac. He conversated back with him about this matter. And Rebekah, his wife, conceded. Now, verse 22. Now, pay attention. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it might be so, why am I thus? I mean, why I'm going through this, basically. They must have been, really struggling together. They were literally fighting. Okay? And she said, and went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb. I mean, you're pregnant with two nations. And two manner of people should be separated from thy bowels. And the one should be stronger than the other people, and the elder should serve the younger. That's a prophecy that God gave her. And like I said, if you watch my video, you're going to find out why God did what he did. Okay? You better be ready. People want to get mad and emotional, upset with somebody reading God's word and want to, hey, you want to get mad at somebody, you'll have your day in court with God. You can stand from him and get mad at him and tell you, do or say what you want to say. But don't get mad at somebody like me who's just reading this to you. I didn't write this. You're reading it. If you're in King James Version Bible, you're reading it along with me. You get mad at me for it. You just don't want to accept it. They never wanted us to accept it. Let's move on. Verse 24. And when her day to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Twins. Now, we know there's two type of ways of twins. Where you can look identical or not. See, God expects us to do our homework and pay attention in what he's telling us here. Pay attention. Verse 25. And the first one came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called him Esau. Red all over? hairy like a garment? That's two characteristics. First, he was red all over. Oh, that was just blood. Did God say it was blood? You think God couldn't have made it plain? No. He was red all over and hairy like a garment. Now, if you was to Google this, what people is red and hairy all over, do that. Why don't you? And they call him Esau. Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and he took hold of Esau's heel. Wait a minute. Why would he describe? I know the wolves have told you. Oh, because they were both twins, so there wasn't no need to just, mention the other one characteristic. They were both the same. He said he was twins. So God couldn't say the other twin came out? And looking the same as the other one? He didn't mention the other one. He didn't say the other one took hold of his heel. Another prophecy. Let's move on. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when he bare them. I mean, 60 years old. Verse 27. Pay attention. Here go another characteristic. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. I mean, he loved to hunt. They like to go in the field. Well, symbolic, the field means, when God put this in here, is the world. This person had a lust for hunting. And Jacob was a plain man, dwell in the tent. I mean, he stayed at home. He didn't have a stomach for what his other brother was doing. Going out there hunting in the woods. We see that today. We know that. You're not going to never look at any kind of show. Okay, you know what? I don't want to even go there. Okay. You know where God's taking you here. You want to reject it and you want to believe it. That's your problem. It's not. I'm not here to convince you. Verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison. He loved the way Esau cooked. Whatever Esau hunted and found, he cooked, and his father loved it. Not to mention, it was something different about him anyway. Who taught him how to cook? Who taught you how to do things when you was a child? Your mother or your father? Mother taught him how to cook. Continue. But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob saw pottage. I mean, he was cooking stew. And Esau came in the field and was fainted. He didn't find no food that particular day, obviously. So he was hungry. I must have been real hungry. Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage. That means stew. That means beef or whatever, not even fully cooked. We got people today, and I used to be guilty. Back in the day, I used to like my steak medium. I want to see a little blood in it. Back in the day when I was nowhere in God's word. I'm guilty of that too. I was. Not now. But hear what I'm telling you. You like this red meat. Yeah, a lot of them like to eat their meat, rare, barely cooked meat. Whether it's hamburger or steak. Therefore, he was named Edom because he wanted this red stew meat. That's where Edom come from. That's where the nation of Edom come from. From the nature of Esau. 31. And Jacob say, sell me this day thy birthright. Now people can say, well, hey, you know what? That was his brother. Why he just didn't give him the food? Why did he want his birthright? You know, when God have his hand in the mix, you don't question it. Because God makes sure his prophecy comes true. Okay? 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? I don't care about this birthright. I just want to eat. You know, and that day, the first son got the whole 9 yards. The other 1% trickled down, but that whole 9 yard got to the whole the eldest son. He got the whole blessings. And in the last days, the people who's in God's word are going to get the whole 9 yards. Why? Because they believe in this God. They want the inheritance. Esau didn't care about his birthright. He despised it. Do you know what despise means? Have you ever despised something, a person or something? That means you hate. I mean, you don't care. $33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day, and swear unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Now, the wolves in the church will tell you that Esau's birthright was stolen from him. He was conned out of him. Yeah. What part there with Esau had an opportunity? He could have said, no, that's all right. I'll go back out and hunt. I want my birthright. He told you he despised it. He said, what profit? Well, what is it going to do for me right now? I'm hungry. What part you don't understand what God telling you? God told you what happened here. Want to call God a liar? Well, good luck. 34. And Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage and linen, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Wow. How are you going to give up your birthright? It's like somebody leave you, telling you, I'm getting ready to, when I die, my house is your house. If you're two brothers, oldest son, hey, I'm going to give it to you because you're the oldest son. You know, he turns around, He wants something less than that and say, hey, I don't care about that. Give me that and you can have the house. But when we find out in the next chapter or so, we're going to find out he made a big mistake. I want to take you to Romans right quick, because you need to have a more understand where God going here. Let's go to Romans chapter 9, and we're going to read 7 through 13. You know, Old Testament, I tell you, no longer exists. You know, the Old Testament is a witness of the Second Testament. They bear witness to each other. We know if you don't have a witness to anything, a second person, then, hey, you can't prove a crime. It has to be two or more. But anyway, Romans chapter 9, verse 7. And it reads, neither because they are the seed of Abraham, or they are children, but in Isaac should thy seed be called. Verse 8. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, they are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed, the faith. Abraham was the faith of the seed. Verse 9. For this is the word of the promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah should have a son, which was Isaac. And not only this, but Rebekah also would have conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. Who's that? Jacob. Well, he had Ishmael. Ishmael wasn't blessed. For the children being not yet born, this is before Rebekah even had either one of the two, neither have done any good or evil, that the purpose of the God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that he called. He called that. He made that prophecy. He wanted that to happen. God did. Verse 12. It was said unto her, the elder son should serve the younger. Now, we're talking about New Testament here now, collaborating with the Old Testament. A prophecy. It was recounted again. Verse 13. I got a video called It Is Written. You might want to check that video out too. But anyway, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau I hated. Now, remember the Old Testament, Isaac loved Esau. Rebekah loved Jacob. But this is God talking right now. Why? Because of the nature of Esau not caring about his inheritance. He didn't care nothing about God. And as we go through that chapter, when we go back to it, you're going to find out from all the way from chapter 26, 27, 28, Esau never referenced God for anything. He was ran to his natural father. Let's move on. We're almost done here. Go to Malachi, chapter 1. Malachi, chapter 1, and we're going to read 1 and 3. Ready? Malachi 1, chapter 1, we're going to read 1 through 3. And it reads, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yea, say, wherein hast thou loved us? Question. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? They basically say, wait a minute, you say you love us, but what about Esau? Ain't he our brother? Verse 3. And I hate Esau, and lay his mountains, which was nations, and his inheritance waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Folks, that's bad. Now, I can get really deep in that third verse. But that's for another day, for another time. But, once again, when you get into God's word, you have to take your emotions out of it. He's trying to tell you something. He's trying to, when he was crucified and opened the door, especially when Paul, Timothy, and all of them went and preached to the Gentiles and to the world, he was giving everybody an opportunity to know this God of Israel. Now, if you want to lag around and worry about this racist stuff, black, so-called white, it's nowhere in the Bible you're going to find white people, not unless you got leprosy. You're not going to find there wasn't all races on the ark. Where is your common sense at? If all the races was created back in Noah day, then how come it wasn't two of every races on the ark? You got them wolves trying to tell you that, but God didn't tell you that. And then you want to try to get out of these three boys, Noah's sons. Well, we all came out of those three sons, but in a way that God had to bring a certain entity, a different nature and nation to come in here and mix that up, which was Esau. But anyway, watch the video Where the Racists Come From, part 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to continue Genesis 26 next time. But until then, be happy, stay safe, be peaceful, and thank you for your time.